Hello, everybody. I am Mike from Mike's Gaming Gala. If you're watching from another channel, whether it be Nico Plays Indies or the Overwhelmed Gamer, don't worry. I'm going to be bringing on your favorite YouTuber soon. This is actually a very special presentation, something that I haven't done before. But we are actually helping Guardian Games Studios, Spencer Walters, launch his Kickstarter for the Nintendo 64 version of Winsley's Guardian. For those who have seen my channel before, I have done a full review of Winsley's Guardian. I've got gameplay footage. That was a Game Boy game, and this is still an evolution of that. It's in the Game Boy kind of sphere, but the size was too small to do everything that Spencer wanted. So now it's going to be coming out on a Nintendo 64 cart. And it's much expanded. It has a lot of stuff added. We are going to be taking a look at that soon. But I did want to make perfectly clear that this is a promotional live stream. It is not, however, a paid promotional live stream. Everybody involved in this is doing it because we either support Guardian Games Studios and Spencer, or we support this game. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on the rest of the panel in the order that I have them down here. And the first one is the man of the hour. It is Spencer from Guardian Games Studio. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Next is Nico Plays Indies. Hello.
Hello, guys.
And last but certainly not least is Jason, the Overwhelmed Gamer. How are you, sir?
I'm good. What's going on, everyone?
I'm good. So I'm going to bring up right at the start here. I am going to bring up the just launched. This was launched probably, 10 minutes ago, Spencer?
Yep, just about.
Yeah, this is the Kickstarter right here of the Nintendo 64 version of Winsley's Guardian. And you can see in the first 10 minutes, this is Canadian dollars. I apologize. It's Canuck bucks. I am up here in Canada, but over $1,000 in the first 10 minutes. And that's pretty cool. So you've definitely got some big early supporters. And as we go down here, you can see it is Winsley's Guardian, and it is Game Boy graphics. But it is so much more than you can fit on a regular Game Boy game, or a cartridge rather. Because a lot of stuff has been added. Right here it says 40% more content. I don't know, the direct quantification, but the game itself has 10 plus hours of gameplay time. If you don't try to just plow through it and miss all the side bits, and like if you really want to explore the game, you're going to get roughly 10 plus hours out of it. And and here's some screenshots of the game. We're going to be playing some gameplay footage here soon, but on my channel anyway, I've got a pinned comment where you can connect to this Kickstarter, as well as in the description, should be on all channels, is a link to that Kickstarter if you are interested. I do know that Kickstarter isn't for everybody. Crowdfunding isn't for everybody. But if you are so inclined, the link is there, and it was just launched. So, Spencer, why don't you tell us a little bit about what made you want to do this? And then, obviously, Jason and Nico can chime in at any point while you're talking about their thoughts. And we'll talk about it.
I appreciate it. This is our flagship game. This is the game that really kicked off Guardian Games Studio. As part of it is in the name, but it's a game that I made to give to my daughter Winsley. And it's just, the game means a lot for me. I don't want to spoil the game too much because there's a lot of people that haven't played it. But as our flagship game, there was so much more that I wanted to add. And as you earlier mentioned, we couldn't really fit everything on a singular 4 gigabyte, little small Game Boy cart. And so I wanted to expand it. Well, with expansion and time and all the cutscenes and all the music, we had to find a way to port it to another system. And I really felt as though on the N64, this was really more of, to me, a sit down and play instead of a sit down with it in your hands in a Game Boy, because there's so much more that we wanted to do. There was so much that you can how you can interact with the game. And so we decided, okay, well, I found a manufacturer that could port it over, and we decided to re-release it. But we had quite a few bugs to fix, and if anybody knows LVs, he's probably the best, most prolific Game Boy programmer that there is in the market. Not trying to say that the others aren't as good, but he's definitely one of the best. And we went through and just clarified it with a lot of actually all of your help, which I very much appreciate. So that was really the reason why we ported it. It is a massive game, and I put on there 10 hours, but I think the only ones that can really give a good estimate would be a new player, because I kind of know the tips and tricks and through it. But I would say if I went back and just somebody gave me this game, I mean, it's way over 10 hours, because you're gonna get stuck at some points. You're not gonna be able to beat a boss. You're gonna have to replay it. There's little mini arcades. There's side quests. So there's a ton of exploration, and it kind of harkens to or a callback to that Link's Awakening type style, but with some Earthbound vibes is kind of like how I've described it. And I don't know what you guys think. Nico's been the one to most recently play it. So
right here, this is the best part of the game. Just saying. Every time I walk by that TV, I've got to bring up the Mike's Gaming Gala screen.
I don't know that I've ever done that, to be honest.
You got to click on it twice.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's probably why then, because I have clicked it once. Okay, that's a cool Easter egg, though. I actually didn't know about that.
And I will say, yes, some people, myself included, have been burned from Kickstarters. I fully understand that not everybody wants to support a Kickstarter. The one thing I will say is that if Spencer did not have a history of completed and fulfilled Kickstarter campaigns, I would not have agreed to do this. So
we actually have, Mike, it's a good thing you're pointing that out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 fully funded campaigns, and we've delivered to every single one of them in succession. So most of the time, and I'm glad that you paused on that, because we produce this game. It's finished. It's complete. It's going to manufacturing before the Kickstarter is over. So I have physical copies of the game, and behind me in my room, we've got copies of Nathan and Luke that are going out. That's another Kickstarter that just closed. We've got Soren Rising. So in succession, as soon as the Kickstarter finishes and we've collected the funds, we're shipping games immediately. And I do like Kickstarter for the reach, but I totally understand. And if you're not a Kickstarter fan, you can always get one from our website. It's usually a little bit more expensive. We're working on some connections with other companies. Like, there's a few out there I won't mention, but working on some larger accounts that do sell these games just a little bit more expensive than the discounted amount that you're gonna be able to buy it for on Kickstarter. So,
yep. But yeah, exactly. If you if you don't want to support it on Kickstarter, you can always get it on the website later. You have a good tracker. It's not like the only people to ever get it are people on the Kickstarter, which is not a sales method that I like. I don't like when things are restricted to a very limited time frame.
Yeah, and the game, obviously it means a ton to me. I created it for my daughter. Her name is Winsley. Maybe I can, a little bit later on the stream, I can have her come in and say hi. But it's you start out in a game, and maybe I should give some overview of the gameplay. Nico is probably better at describing it, being an avid gamer. I love to make games. I'm not good at playing them, but it's that action top down where you can choose the type of weapon that you're going to use. Your weapon evolves as you go into different stages of life. And something that I haven't seen happen before in a video game was age progression. I mean, of course, there are games that you do progress in age, but it's through the story of Winsley through a life. And that's why this new game is called A Life Fulfilled, is because it really tracks her from the time that she's a small girl all the way through all the different stages of life. And you follow her throughout those, and you get to interact with a world that's very much built on what happens to all of us in life. You're going to go through stages of grief and stress and school and love and all the different components of life, and it really does pull you in, I feel, and does a good job of telling the story of what really life is about. But enough of my overly glowing review of it. Nico's probably got a better perspective, probably playing this game, I don't know, probably at least 30 times.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything that you said. I did like the age progression because you play as Winsley throughout her life. I don't want to go too much into that because I don't want to spoil some of its charm, but it definitely introduces some elements to that with the weapons and things that'll be a bit different depending on her age. And then, yeah, just the story is really the special part here. And that's something I don't particularly want to talk about because I think it's better experience for yourself. I think it's not just meaningful for you and the reason that you made it, but also, you could see the parts of it that apply to all of us as a really profound meaning. It's heartfelt for sure.
Yeah, you don't have this feeling that it's like, oh, I'm playing as a little girl in a game. It doesn't really feel like that. You're playing as a kid. You're playing as a teenager. You're playing as an adult.
Yeah, for sure. I think Jason was, the first one to really do a Kickstarter for this when I met him at the Midwest Gaming Classic, same time that I met you, Mike. And
okay.
I think I gave Jason a copy of it for free. Or did you buy a copy, Jason? I wasn't sure.
I bought a copy for the Game Boy. I'm trying to remember now too. We've talked a lot, but I know I have a couple copies not for the Game Boy. You gave me a copy of your other game though at the Gaming Classic.
Oh,
yeah. So, I do got a question for you though.
Sure.
Why the big jump? And it's almost hard to talk about this game without spoiling any stories, but just like the technical side of things, why did you choose the 64? That's like that big jump between the Game Boy and the 64.
Yeah.
What was the thought?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, of course, the size, we had unlimited size, so I had really no restrictions there. But the colors, they were a little bit more vibrant. The tunes sounded the best as far as where I was going to port it to next. And the manufacturer that I work with, I've been working with for about 4 years, I asked them about the ability to port without having to recode the entire game. And they said that they could figure out the port. Yeah, they already had done this previously for other systems. And they said it's going to look the best, feel the best, sound the best on an N64 cart. And then there's some additional features that they could add. So like on the N64 cart, you're going to be able to rewind very shortly. There's button mapping. You can change the aspect ratio of it. So there's some other features outside of just what you're
going to be able to rewind.
Yeah. Which
so when I
cheat,
because a little bit, yeah. But so the worst boss in this game, by far the worst boss in this game is math.
Yeah.
And so rewind will come in very helpful with math.
Yeah. I never thought math was that bad, but what I do for work maybe plays into that. Maybe you just aren't really good at math. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I went into making pretty pictures for a living, so I didn't have to deal with math. Little did I know how much math was involved. Yeah. But my thing is I like using that noodle sword, or as it evolves, it becomes other things.
Yeah.
And so, hitting select to switch to your slingshot to get math up top. I don't know. Just switching back and forth for me. I've never liked math.
I was surprised when you were playing it before, when I watched you streaming it. You took kind of like the harder route. It's almost like punishment. Like a lot of people will go with the ranged weapons over the melee, and you're going after every one of the bosses with the melee weapon. And so I was kind of surprised because it's almost like beating Contra without the Konami code. It's like you are just a glutton for punishment.
Which I can beat Contra without using a continue.
Yeah, it'd be like
so maybe I just like the getting in there and close and personal.
I don't want to go too much into the story side of it, but maybe I should leave. I'll leave some of it on the end of it off. But the game, as I mentioned before, was made for Winsley, and you can read more about it on the Kickstarter. She's 5 years old now, but her late sister, Everly, who passed about 8 years ago now, I really wanted her to know that she had a guardian angel looking over her, and somebody that was always going to watch over her, and somebody that was going to be there for her, that somebody that she would meet, someday. And so, because anytime you go into the game portion of it and you tell the story behind it, it kind of spoils the game. So I almost don't want to talk about it too much.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, like right now we're watching what could be considered like the opening level, as it were, and it is certainly expanded. I noticed there was a lot more in this zoo than it was initially. But the core gameplay that you kind of see here doesn't really change except for in one section that I've come across anyway. And that section is completely new. We'll probably get to that later. I'm not like I will skip through a few things. There's a couple what I would consider genuine spoilers, but
Sure.
I will show that part of it at some point.
You've each had quite a big influence on the game. I know Mike, when we were first launching it, talking about different areas and aspects of life, because I'm asking you like how I've got a mind block, like a writer's block, on how do I add more to this game. And so Mike had the drug dealer influence, so that was
You make me sound so wholesome.
But you can go to the CD bar as you get older, and of course there's somebody dealing drugs in the bar, and you can go and beat them. They're one of the side bosses you don't necessarily have to engage with, like in life. I would suggest not. But that was something that obviously,
if you're a completionist, you have to, though.
And that's a hard boss. I mean, I definitely got my butt kicked.
Not an easy one.
No.
They got harder. They got harder because of me.
Yeah.
I told Elvie some of the early game bosses were too easy, so he upped their health a bit. So hearing you guys say how the bosses are hard, that's my fault.
Yeah.
Well, no, the only one I really struggle with was math, and I think again it's how I play it. I will say in the first, not the release version, but the first versions that I played of Winsley's Guardian, I thought the bosses were too easy.
Yeah.
But I was really out of practice. I recorded this from the newest ROM that I was sent earlier this week, and I only had about an hour to play, so I was like rushing through it, and I was out of practice. So you'll see. I think I use up a piece of octopus like at this first boss, and it's just like, oh, come on, that's embarrassing.
Just funny because my daughter, since the time she was about 2.5, I took her to this Italian deli in town. It's in the game. It's called Rigatoni's. If you're in Wisconsin, Jason might have gone by there. You're not too far, but they're in Delavan, and it's an Italian. It's like an honest Italian deli, and there's some octopus there. We went to the zoo, and Winsley's like, "I want to eat octopus." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "All right, I'll give it to her. She's gonna spit it out." And ever since that, she eats it like it's going out of style. Never seen a little girl, a kid, especially maybe more common in like Japan or China, but she will just house like pieces of it, and to this day, it's one of her favorite meals. So when you said octopus, that's one. It's like it's almost like Castlevania, the piece of meat, right? Except for
piece of pork sitting in a castle wall. Yeah, I'm gonna eat that.
Except for you have to go to a real good deli for it. So instead, then the arcades in there. Did we have a Mike's Gaming Gala arcade game in there?
Initially, there was one, that has been. It probably is later after after the point that I played here, but it was in the big Rigatoni's that had the thrift shop in it.
Yeah,
it got moved.
Yeah, the arcade machines got moved, but there's just a ton there. And then Nico has added a ton to the game just suggestively through Elvies, and I mean, I don't know how big the Nicovania game is in total. You've played it since its last iteration. I've played it last week, but you didn't go easy on me on that one either, by the way.
You thought it was hard?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, that's mostly Elvies, but we did extend it quite a bit because initially it was just one level, and it was kind of like this thing where it's like, oh, let's do a Vania style arcade game. And then you suggested the name, which is Nico Smelmont, which is a play on Simon Belmont, obviously. And then I was like, Smelmont. So then we did a fun little story, which I won't spoil that. You can read that in the intro. But then it's 3 levels now. So if you like classic Vania games, that's a pretty good one. I think that's a really fun arcade game. That's a new addition. So
I'm surprised on how well it plays too. And that Elvis did such a good job on it, because the different iterations of the Castlevania games on the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color were only decent. And then I was playing the Nico Vania game, and I was like, this is actually this could have been a whole nother game in itself. If you would have.
I just got a disc catching game. What the heck, man?
Well, hey, Jason got nothing, so.
Oh well, now we need an overwhelmed gamer.
I think we put him on. We did put an overwhelmed gamer on one of the TVs hidden in the game. So
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, if you go up to one of the TVs and you're switching through the channels, you will see the overwhelmed gamer on one of them. But so we tried to add a little bit of something. So the game for me, it means the world. I think that's really why we wanted to remake it, and I hope that everybody that sees this has a chance to experience it, because I get messages from people, all over the world that are like, I played this game, and, the guys you wouldn't expect to be, the emotional guys, I get this really heartfelt email, and I'm just shocked. And, I think when I gave this game to Nico, and he's, messaging me through X and going, I didn't really think that this was going to get me in the end. But this definitely, it hits you in the feels. I will say that.
Yeah.
There's very few games out there that I think that really actually make you feel anything these days. Same thing with kind of like movies. Like, when is there, when does a good movie really come out? And that's what we're trying to achieve with this. So I hope that people are able to experience it, and the tunes do, I think, go a long way with that, and the tunes complement it very well. They were actually done by Winsley's great uncle, Jordan. So just kind of cool to be able to tie those together, which is also tied into another one of our games, Jordan's Adventure. So the whole universe of Guardian games are somewhat tied into it. A little bit of Soren Rising. You can find one of the books that I've written in the game. Then play a little Soren Rising.
We'll show. Actually, you know what? I can. Here, yeah, right here. You do get to, if you pick up a book at a certain point, you do get to play a little Soren Rising.
Which you said that, I appreciate the compliment. You said that was one of our best games.
Soren Rising, I think, is absolutely this, between Soren Rising and Winsley's Guardian. I think they're your best games.
Yeah,
that is a personal opinion.
Well, I think Nico would disagree on that one, but
I don't know. Actually, that I think that might be accurate. I did like Jordan's 1980s Adventure, though.
That was a lot of fun.
That one, I liked all the different mini games.
I struggled with this jump, by the way. I eventually get it.
That's okay.
Come on,
we're not judging you right now. I mean, just
there we go.
Just thousands of other gamers are going to be.
That's okay.
That's all right.
I think in my defense, though, on Soren Rising, you agreed that the difficulty was a bit brutal.
Oh, it was so bad.
So that's what I didn't really like. So if you ever re-release it or anything, and you put continues or something and make it a little bit more forgiving, then I think a lot of my criticism kind of fades away.
Yeah. For sure. And this one was pretty easy. This little example of this version of Soren Rising was where we get to play. You're playing as Winsley, going through one of her dad's books and finding that and being able to play through it. So this one's pretty forgiving. This one's not too bad. But that might have to be another re-release at some point. I'd love to do a compilation if I could ever figure out the programming behind how to make a compilation cart with all the different games on it. But
that, especially for smaller games, that would be wonderful.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
Evercade would be a good choice if they do that.
Yeah.
I've not talked to those folks. Quality is definitely there. They put out some in the carts. I ended up buying an Evercade, but the quality of the carts, the quality of the games that they produce there are are pretty solid. So I'd love to see a couple of our games on Evercade. I think that, and this
That
is
would be really cool.
Mike, this is where we moved those.
This is where I was very disappointed. I'm like, can I play the shelves? What the heck, man?
Yeah, there's more arcade games in the bar with the CD drug dealer, and a couple other spots now in the game too as well. So, well, I mean, if for you guys, what I'd really like to gather is like, what are your favorite parts of the game? Like, Mike, what was your what did you after playing this or while playing it, like, what was your favorite part of it?
Well, obviously the best part of the game is me on the television, but
yeah, of course.
So I was your initial Kickstarter for Winsley's Guardian. I went whole hog. I went in at I think it was like the $100 contribution level, so that I could put somebody into the heaven scene. Spoiler alert: you're playing through Winsley's in basically her entire life. You start when she's 5 years old.
Yep.
And you play right to the end of her life, and there's a heaven scene at the end. And at that contribution level, you could put people into the heaven scene. And so my personal story is that when my parents found out that they were going to be having me, my dad's mother was so excited. And she was going to spoil me, and she was going to take me to Disneyland or Disney World. And she was going to do all this stuff. And then 3 months later, she died very suddenly. And that wrecked my dad. That's not spoiling the plot. You still, that's like telling you that you will one day die. Yeah. Yes, everybody dies. But I'm not spoiling what you do in that life. Yeah. But and that wrecked my dad, and he used to always tell me that my grandmother was such a wonderful woman and she wanted to spoil me and all that stuff. Market maker is in denial. He will never die. And so I thought, very much in the same vein of being told about somebody who passed away before you were even born, that is watching over you, as it were. And she was never told to me that she's your guardian angel or anything like that. Just, she loved the idea of you, but you never got to meet her. And so I had her put into the heaven scene at the end. And that, for me, it was just like, I don't know. It's like you live through your entire life, and then at the I'm not even a religious person, but at the end, you get to meet these people and you get to talk to these people. And the idea of that was kind of really touching to me. So selfishly, that's my favorite part of the game. Certainly there's a lot of there are a lot of fun things. Every single time I walk past a slide, I have to slide down it. I do like fighting the drug dealer in the bar. We've already talked about that, so that's not a spoiler, market maker. It's a game. I think the way that you have phrased it in the past is that you want games with heart. And that's what you want to be known for. Not every single one of your games is going to be a game with heart. But even the sweet little tie-in at the end of Jordan's adventure that kind of links the two, I like that very much. And I like the little world that you created here. I like the characters that you created here. It is specific, but also generic enough that it could apply to pretty much anybody. And that's what I really like about the game.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about the heaven scene side of it, just because it means so much to so many people. There were so many people that did, like you, buy they wanted their loved ones added to that end scene, and that's really what it's about, right? At the end of it, getting to the point where, you kind of realize that, we all are destined for one outcome, but having that glimmer of hope, you can see those people that were most important to you throughout your life are there waiting for you. And, we've all experienced loss, and there is some other tributes to some other people that, in the gaming community that we've even lost recently that, we ended up adding to that scene just because it's profound. When something like that happens, it's profound. It's like, how do you even comprehend it? How do you deal with those type of things? And that's really what the game is all about. So, I mean,
we're going to skip me fighting math in the game footage
because you're embarrassed about it.
It took me two times. Just wanted to interrupt you to say, Mr. Postal here, he's a friend of my channel. He's actually a really good friend of mine. He went in for a box copy on the Kickstarter.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. And this N64 game is it is all complete. So for those people that are considering backing it, the physical carts are in production right now. So I think you'd be really happy with the carts, the box style, the manuals. They've all been expanded quite a bit. So,
cool.
Nico?
Yeah, so not to kind of take a cop-out answer, but I think the story is just something that I really enjoyed the most. Like, the gameplay is fun, and I really like the different things you can do in this. There's some little activities beyond the arcade games we talked about, but just we talked about how much heart that the story has. The fact that this is a Game Boy Color game, and it made me feel something that some modern games with like AAA budgets and voice acting don't manage to touch me in that same way, should tell you just how special the story really is. And I think that although it was born from something tragic that happened for you, Spencer, that you made a like wonderful, beautiful piece of art out of it. And then I'll be a little selfish too and say the addition of Nicovania is probably my favorite thing, and that's why I played through it so much. And I saw Elvis is in the chat. I drove him nuts adding to it. So that too, but this is a really fun game with a really meaningful story. And if you already play the Game Boy Color version of it, I think there's plenty of reasons to play this one. And if you've never played it before, this is definitely the definitive version. So I enjoy it for kind of the story and also all of the other stuff going on with the gameplay as well.
Yeah, for sure. Jason, not least, but last.
Yeah, it's hard not to just appreciate the story. I think the gameplay is great too, and it's fun. Fighting all the different bosses was super fun. But yeah, the story is definitely where the most enjoyment from this game comes from. And I think, there's a lot of games that try to pull at your heartstrings, but I think the thing that's different about this one is you're going to find some piece of the story somewhere that you can relate to, that you went through as a kid. So, or, as a teenager or as an adult, that really makes the story that much more enjoyable, because you can almost feel like you're reliving. There's almost like a huge nostalgia feel to the game and the story, because you can it sucks you right in. So yeah, I mean, the story is definitely, that's it for me. It's so fun just to watch her grow up, and I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, it's definitely, and everybody will have something to relate to story-wise to this game. So if you haven't played it, definitely it's so worth a playthrough. And now with the new 64 version coming out, even if you have played the Game Boy one, yeah, check it out.
Well, and no matter what stage of life you're in, it's reflected here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And the game, is built on, everybody that's been involved in the game, we included in the game. So like there's Mike's Gaming Gala in the game, not because, and any other reason, like, hey, maybe I can get some free advertising. It was because Mike was a big part of the game and he's become a friend of mine. And same thing with, Elvis has, a piece in the game. and my little brother's in the game, my sisters are in the game, my mom, my dad are in the game, and we put them all as different characters in the game so that eventually they will pass, and I hope not anytime soon, but it's being able to reflect on all the people that had influence in your life and leaving something behind. And everything that you see in the game, in a lot of things that Elvy's just mentioned, so many Easter eggs you're going to find that are call outs to different things that have happened in the world, and in my life personally, that you might just find, oh well, why is this make sense, why is this thing here named, and they're all for good reason. Like I mentioned before, Rigatoni's is a real Italian deli in Delwyn, Wisconsin. So everything here is built on the foundation of it being a real story from a real person that had real experiences. And we're trying to portray that through the game. And
yeah, it was wild when I first talked to you about this, and I was like, "Why octopus?" And you're like, "No, that's actually her favorite treat." I'm like, wow, okay.
Octopus and strawberries. I hated that basketball, that jock, the basketball jock.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I have more problem with him than I do math every time. That's the one that gets me, because you can't melee him. You have to use the slingshot, right?
Yeah.
And that's the worst one. And then
that spread shot.
Yeah, that spread shot. It's just there's no getting away from it. There's absolutely no getting away from it.
And Blinkserizer just back the $100 tier.
I appreciate it very much. Yeah, we're for the Kickstarter only being live for about 37 minutes, we're at $1,000, a little over $1,000. So I really appreciate that. And like you said, if you're nervous about any Kickstarters, you can look at all of our prior Kickstarters. You can always email me directly, Spencer at guardiangamesstudio.com, if you ever have like a shipping issue or something. And we're always willing to jump on that. So we've got a good history of games in the past, and with quick and fulfillment in succession as soon as it's over. So,
yeah, one of the things, to go back to what you were saying, you fighting the jock was always a big issue with you, or like one that you found challenging. Every single time we've talked about Winsley's Guardian, when I've had you on, I've given you a hard time for demonizing jocks. There are some nice jocks out there. They're not all bad guys.
No, I had to have some type of cliche. There's the nerd in there, and you got
as a person who played a lot of sports as a kid with two sons who play a lot of sports. Not every jock is a bad guy.
No, that's for sure not. I am definitely the nerd in this story, though, for sure. That's duly accurate. But there's so much like kind of fun, like throwback 90s references in here. And I really commend Elvy's for all the different, I don't know if in this part you're going to go into the bar or not.
I do eventually get to the bar.
Okay. I like how you have to enter Singletown to go to the bar, which I guess now on days it'd be like, I'm going to go on, Tinder or whatever.
Right.
So this definitely is set in the 90s, as far as, the time frame, because you got the payphone still. And that's kind of the style that I wanted to keep it. But
yeah, I think my priorities here was bar before work.
Yeah, you skipped over college, didn't you? Or did you go to college and then the bar, or did you go to the bar first?
I'm not sure what I did in this place.
Because you don't have to go to, and there's you don't have to go to college in the game.
Oh, I went to college. No, I went to college first, and then I went to the bar, and then I went to work.
Gotcha. So you did them in reverse order. See, if you in the part of the game is all those different paths you can take. Like you don't have to. There's a ton of parts you don't have to play, but
you should.
But you should.
Yeah. What you should.
I like the little call
because like the guys were saying, like the story is a big part of it, and if you are playing Winsley's life, do you really want to skip parts?
Yeah.
Of your life? No, you want to play the whole thing, including fighting Walter White here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the gameplay is fun too. I don't want to discount that at all. I know we all talked about the story a lot, but the gameplay is it's fun. It's you have your melee weapons or your throwing weapons and whatnot. So yeah, I loved the entire experience of it.
I like how he says, "Do you want a pipe?" Like we didn't skip over; we went right for it. Hey, it's like
And the way he is with his thing, I was like, oh, are they going to expand the cutscene to him like flashing you or something?
yeah, we definitely made
This game is PG.
Yes,
I will say that
Yeah.
for anybody watching. There's no bad language. There's no nudity. There's nothing like that.
No, and the little shout out to my little brother, the pinball scientist. He's a big pinball guy,
Mm-hmm.
and so we made a little pinball game back there. And it's you know it's not great, but right now we're actually working on a pinball game that LV's has got on the roster. We're not far into it yet, but he's got on the lineup for another game that we'll be producing eventually. But I do agree with you. The Walter White bags of blue being tossed, pretty hilarious.
And this is definitely, so probably Nico's influence. This is definitely a boss that is it's a much longer boss fight than it used to be.
Yeah, some of the like the first half or so, I was kind of like, bosses are a little too easy. I don't know what the values were, but LV's tweaked them all. I think except the math boss, just because of the way that fight goes, because you're having to take other things out other than the boss. But yeah, there's a lot of little things like that we tweaked. So that was one of them. The boss fights needed to be a little bit harder.
And there's a ton of strategy there too. I mean, going through the game and playing it for the second time, I required to make sure that I picked up every single coin that I possibly could. And I'd go back and make sure I hit everybody so I could go back to Rigatoni's to get more strawberries and octopus, because I got my butt kicked a ton on the second playthrough. Like too many times for a game that I developed with LV's over the last couple of years. I've played this game so many times and I still go back to it. And I saw LV's in the chat say, blame it on Nico. I guess we know who to look to, why this game took me about 8 hours to beat.
You know what, though? A challenge is a good thing. I think that was actually probably the right call, because you don't want to just blow through the game, and you want to make it so that, like here, because, again, I've played it before and I know that there's another boss coming, I decided to walk all the way back and go to a strawberry fountain so that I would have health to fight him, because I don't want to die. And if you have a game where you never have to worry about your health, you never have to worry about anything like that, there's no challenge to it. It's like the Lego games. Yes, there's benefits to being really good at one of the Lego games, but you could die a million times and you never lose a level. You could just keep going until you beat it. And this is one of those ones where you might want to hit every telephone that you pass and save.
Yeah, for sure. And, not to spoil any part of it, but I will say, if you see a jukebox, make sure that you hit all the hidden Easter eggs, because there's like a sound test with some new songs produced by Personal Galaxy. And when you first walked into that bar, you saw that little Personal Galaxy logo at the right corner. That is my Uncle Jordan's band. And there's the sound test has some really good songs. I think you just had a stream talking about the best tunes on retro games, and I would say that his the jukebox, when you open up the sound test, definitely there's a couple bangers in there that are really, really good.
Yeah, I remember the sound test from the original game, so there's more, you're saying?
Oh yeah,
awesome.
There's a good jukebox worth of tunes you can rip through. I think there's about like 8 of them in there. So, and then that's what we were going to have it, Jordan and the Rippers, as a callback to.
That was originally over in the main bar area.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. And I didn't want to get any hits from copyrights, but obviously Full House, Jesse and the Rippers. So we did Jordan and the Rippers just to be funny, But this is definitely one of my more favorite levels in the game, and you get to see. I
love the Karens with the wine that are.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like somebody throwing a drink on you.
Yeah,
I'm glad you picked that up. That was a Karen with a glass of wine getting ready to throw it at you. And she's got she's
got the right haircut. Yeah,
yeah, it's like twisted up at the back. So yeah, that's actually pretty hilarious. Yeah, I appreciate you guys doing this. It means the world to me. I hope that the game does well. Most of our stuff always does, but this is it means a ton that we can redo this game as our flagship. So
Yeah, I mean, I have not played. Admittedly, I have not played through the entire game yet. I played to obviously capture this game footage, and maybe to remove any additional spoilers. I'm not gonna show you guys me playing, going to work, and then the stuff that comes after that. But I
Yeah.
haven't made it all to the end yet. I didn't have tons of time to be able to do that. But in what I have played, it is a lot more game than it initially was.
yeah,
So even if you've played the original, there's a lot extra here.
yeah. There's quite a bit. I would say it's just tough to put that earmark on that time frame because we've all kind of tested it so many times ourselves, right? So it's like you never know when it's the first time experience. Like I could probably beat Mega Man 2 in 45 maybe an hour.
Yeah.
If the first time I played it through, man, that was tough, and there was so much to explore and understand. And I think we'll have to get some feedback from those folks that after they played. I hope some people contact me afterwards and let me know.
Here's something I didn't know. Elvies is revealing that I wouldn't consider this a spoiler, but this is definitely replay value. Depending on which order you go to things like work, bar, school, you'll get different cutscenes.
Really?
You didn't even know that.
I'm not the programmer. I did a very small portion of the art. One of the songs in the game, Elvies was the star of the show when it comes to programming. I can't give him enough credit for what he did. This game would be nothing. I mean, when you find the right person to create that game, the right programmer, that means everything. Because I'm definitely not the talent. Games that I've made, like Nathan and Luke, it's about the quality of game that I can come up with.
Which is a fun platformer and a challenging one too.
It's pixel perfect platforming, but I will say that some of the programming, the backside of it, once I finished developing it, I still had LB's tweak it in the end because having that person that's just of that heightened level of experience in any type of program, it makes a huge difference.
Okay. We lost Nico. I'm sure he'll pop back.
Wi-Fi signal.
Maybe.
Well, Jason, I appreciate you guys coming on a ton.
For sure.
Bunch to me. Are you going to be heading out to the Pinball Expo in Chicago?
No, I'm not. At least I didn't plan on it. I didn't honestly hear about it either.
I will be. It's going to be on
I was there last year. It is an awesome event.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody would like, I'll be there with the pinball scientist, my little brother. He's going to be selling some pinball toppers. So if people are interested and they want to come down and meet me in person and talk about some of the games, they can certainly come down to the Pinball Expo. I will be there. And I'll have copies, physical copies of a lot of the games. Of course, not this game, but I will have the original Game Boy game, Winsley's Guardian, the first one, the shorter version of it, and then, of course, everything else there. So if you're interested and you're planning on maybe heading down there, certainly come in and come see us.
Yes, unfortunately, I will be on the other side of the country. I'll be in Portland because it's at the exact same time as PRGE. But here we go. Here, I'm gonna bring you up full.
The star of the show, Winsley. We're talking about your video game, honey. Do you like your video game? Yeah, think it's pretty cool. Yeah. Do you like? What's your favorite part? You being quiet.
Her favorite part is Mike's Gaming Gal on the TV.
Yeah. And then what about your noodle sword?
I like it.
Yeah. What's your favorite food? Is it octopus? Is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah, you love octopus?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just had to add that because I don't think anybody would believe me that you were an octopus fan. So, well, and so this is your protagonist who you'll be playing as throughout the game. So hopefully someday when she is a little bit older, she'll be able to, know and appreciate the game as much as I hope all of you guys do. So She's having a lot of fun watching herself in the camera right now.
Oh, very good. Yeah, you got to get used to that.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for joining us. I'll bring it up one more time. This is the new Kickstarter for Winsley's Guardian: A Life Fulfilled on the Nintendo 64, which is a expansion of the original Game Boy Color game. The link is in the description, and if you are comfortable with Kickstarter, absolutely check it out and decide whether or not you'd like to support it. If you're not, guardiangamestudios.com is the website where, after this is done, you should be able to purchase it there.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if there are other coupon codes, but I know that if you use the coupon code MGG in the Guardian Game Studios on their website, you will get $5 off your order. So,
yep, that includes international. So we will have this up before Christmas in physical after the Kickstarter's done. So if you want to catch a copy there, certainly you will be able to. We should have physical copies after we've fulfilled, of course, all the Kickstarters. Yep, you can use Mike's MGG, Mike's Gaming Gala, for $5 off any of the games, and we're in stock. We've got quite a bit still from past Kickstarters. So if you order one, we should have it to you in just a couple of days, unless you're international. But then we get those out the same week. So
cool. So I want to thank you guys all for watching. I want to thank Spencer from Guardian Games Studio for launching it with us. I want to thank Jason, the Overwhelmed Gamer, for joining us here and for everything that he had to do with the game. And despite the fact that I think his internet died, I'd like to thank Nico from Nico Plays Indies for everything that he did as well, especially for making all those bosses, except math, harder.
Yeah. I appreciate all you guys. So thank you very much, Mike. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate you guys.
You are very welcome. And I hope it does well. And if you're watching this after, like I said, absolutely, no matter where you're watching from, absolutely go and check this out, because Spencer has been a good friend of the channel, and I have supported the stuff that he's done. I support, basically anybody trying to make new things, and especially when they're something like this that actually has a message behind it and not just a run and gun, for instance. So awesome. Do you have any, I'll give you a chance, Jason. Do you have any final words before we go?
No, not really. Yeah, definitely support the game though. It's super fun. I had a blast with it. I streamed it all the way through. If you want to see it, you can, but I definitely recommend picking it up and playing it for yourself. That's where you can really hit you in the feels and you can feel that story. So check it out.
Great. And I'll give the final words to you, Spencer.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. That's it. So for 2026 year to be a fantastic year of unity, and hopefully we all could take away something from this game of how valuable life is and what it means to everybody. So that's all I got.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time on all of our different channels doing our different stuff.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.